Hello boys and girls. Do you know what you want to do when you grow up? Maybe you do. Maybe you want to be a policeman. Maybe you want to be a farmer. Maybe you want to be a nurse. Who knows? But a lot of times when someone asks us, do you know what you want to do when you grow up? We say we do. When it turns up and we grow up, we end up doing something completely different. Our lives can change. We think we want something and something else comes in and changes. And we've got to be able to do that because we can't control it. And that's what happened with little Rita, St. Rita of Cascia. I want to tell you about her today. See, when St. Rita was a little girl, she wanted to be a nun, a sister. That means she wanted to live in a convent with other nuns, with other girls like her that wanted to give their whole life to God. To pray, to learn and to work in a community, in a convent. And she just loved it. She loved prayer, she loved going to Mass, she loved Jesus so much she wanted to give her whole life to Jesus and didn't want to get married, didn't want to have children and so forth, but wanted to give her whole life to Jesus as a nun, as a sister. Anyway, in those days, we're talking way back hundreds of years ago, it wasn't up to the child. It wasn't up to the young person. The parents made the decision. And Rita's parents decided, no, Rita, you're not going to be a nun. You're going to get married. And guess what? We're going to pick the bloke that you're going to get married to. And she went, what? I said, the name of the bloke that you're going to marry is Paolo. You're marrying Paolo. That's fine. And Rita went, oh, really? She didn't know what to do. Her old plans, what she was going to do, had just been changed. But in those days, the parents decided who you're going to marry. Anyway, she prayed to God about it. She said, I really want to serve you, Lord. I want to give my whole life to you. She thought, well, maybe this is what you want from me. So I will obey my parents and do this. So she was married to Paolo. But Paolo was a really nasty man. He was horrible. He treated Rita really badly and she was not really happy. And she was praying, Lord, give me the strength. Change my husband. Help me through this. And the Lord gave her the strength to put up with Paolo, who was a bit of a rotter. Anyway, Rita had two lovely children of her own, 2 sons. And things were going all right. The sons grew up. And then the unthinkable happened. Paolo, who she'd been putting up with for years, her husband, was murdered. Oh, that was something big, tragic. I mean, it was tragic to family and so forth, everything. That were fancy doing this to Paolo. And the custom, though, at the time was, if you do something, you kill someone in my family, you've got to have vengeance. You've got to go and kill someone from that murderer's family. So Rita's sons we're gonna go, Mum, I'm going to take Uncle Jim and we're going to go and we're going to kill someone from that murderer's family who murdered our dad. We're going to take vengeance on that. And Rita prayed and she said, no, don't do this. Don't do this, it's so wrong. She was so upset because it's a big sin. If you go and murder somebody, it's such a big sin that if you don't say you're sorry, you could end up in hell for all eternity. And she didn't want that for her sons. So she was praying and praying that they wouldn't go and kill someone from this other family. And you know, her prayers and her love and her kindness changed their mind. They didn't do it. Okay? So then, Rita, well, I don't have a husband. My kids are grown up and gone. I'm going to go back to doing what I wanted to do in the first place. I'm going to join a convent and be a nun and give my whole life now to God. And so off she went to the Augustinian convent. They're a group of nuns. And she went and knocked on the door and said, I'm going to be a nun. And the boss of the convent, the Mother Superior, says, Rita, you're a good girl, we would like you, but there's a problem because there's this thing with your family. Of course, your husband was killed and the murderer's family's still in the same town, and we don't want any trouble. We don't want any trouble here, because if we take you in, you know, there might be some trouble between your family and the other family might attack the convent because we've got you and a bit of a problem here. So, no, you've got to sort it out between your families first before you can all come into the convent. So Rita thought, oh, she was a bit sad, couldn't join the convent. So she went back and she said, Lord, I've got to try and reconcile these two families. What can I do? She said, well, they won't talk to me, but I'll try and be nice. I'll never be nasty to the other family. But what I really will do is I'll pray, I'll fast, and I'll meditate on your passion. You know, when Jesus suffered and he was put on the cross and he suffered a lot for us to show how much he loved us, he said, I want to do that. I'm going to meditate on that, and I want to suffer for this reconciliation for our families, that they will come together. So she prayed and she did that, and she didn't eat dessert. She didn't eat nice little things. She gave them all up as part of her prayer that this would happen. She prayed a lot. Very, very strong prayer from the heart. And you know, the family's made up. It was no longer a problem. And that they hated each other. Anyway, that was clear. She went and she knocked on the convent door and she said, I've come to join the families, reconcile. They don't hate each other anymore. And the sisters took her in and she became a nun. She was so happy. This is what she wanted. She wanted to serve God with all her life, with all her heart, in prayer. And she never thought it was possible because she was married, she did all this. But with prayer and faith and trust, anything is possible. So she lived as a nun, and she was a beautiful, saintly sister. She died. She became Saint Rita of Cascia, and she's the patron saint of impossible causes. When you think something, there's no chance of this happening, you ask Saint Rita to pray. If something seems impossible, her becoming a nun seemed impossible. Her reconciling these two families seemed impossible. Her stopping her sons from going and killing someone from this family all seemed impossible at the time. But with God's help, anything's possible. So keep that in mind. If you're facing, how can I do this? Ask Saint Rita to say a few prayers to God for you. God bless you. Bye.